Yo, what's up? It's your boy Crazy Arcane, sugarcane.com, CACTV, back again with another bike of the month. That's right, we're going to talk about the bikes that were featured in June, the top 3 bikes that were featured in June. I'm going to keep it at 3 bikes because that way I can get into more detail about the bikes that are featured. So let's get into the bikes that were featured in June 2024, starting with bike number 3, a 2024 Stay Strong V5. What? Yeah, man. Yeah. So we have this bike right here looking real fresh in this yellow to orange fade flame colorway. You know, I like the flames that are coming out the side of the bike. Nice custom colorway he got on there. And it fades to orange in the middle of the frame. It goes back to yellow a little bit in the chainstay and the seat stay, and then it goes right back to orange once you get further in the back of the rear end of the bike. And black is the part color of choice, but there is colored nipples that look like they're orange, and there's also the hubs, which are an orange color. This bike was submitted by Andrew Cohen. Did a real dope job on this bike, and I appreciate you for sending that bike and submitting it to the show. Andrew says that he wanted this bike to give a nod to his mid-school bully hot rod that he rode in the 90s. He had Chapman Custom Painting do the pearl flake paint job so it can match the color but also make it shine. Also painted the hubs to match the frame before he laced them up. His team owner Jeff told him about the Shimano Saints, and they added a nice touch to the bike. And Ad Astra Bike Co. helped find most of the parts. Now that we know about the inspiration for the build, let's check out those parts, son. All right, once again, we got a Stay Strong V5 Pro XL frame, Avian Versus forks, Ciari 53mm stem, Stay Strong 8.25 bars, Stay Strong seat post, and a Stay Strong seat clamp, Stay Strong reactive hoops, Onyx Ultra hub set, a 45 tooth tangent sprocket, Bengal hydraulic disc brakes, and a Box 140 disc. Let's talk about that Stay Strong V5 frame. This is the 2024 For Life V5 Stay Strong frame. So this is actually called the For Life. For 2024, all the frames are going to come with water stickers, which give it that painted on look. It is a aluminum frame, most likely a 6061. They don't give the information on that on the website. So the top tube on the Pro XL is a 21.25. The head tube angle is 74 degrees. Seat tube angle is 72 degrees. The max chainstay length is a 15.6. Woo! That's long. And the minimum length on the chainstay is a 14.7, which is right in pocket pretty much. I like 14.7, 14.6, that kind of range is fun. It is a tapered headset, so you have a 1 1/8 on the top and a 1.5 on the bottom. Bottom bracket is the BB86. Seat post diameter is 31.6, so it's not a 27.2. So the weight of this frame is 3 pounds 52 ounces. And of course, the rider height on this bike, if you're 5'5" or taller, you can get busy on this bike. Of course, if you're real tall, you want to get the bigger sizes like the double XL or triple XL, and they even have a quadruple XL top tube for this bike. So that's what's up, son. That's what's up. Gonna scroll down a little something, and just remember that the ratings all start with a 5s across the board on all of the criteria. You know, a bike jumps on the scene and the first rating is a 10, it winds up at the top of the list. We don't want that to happen, so I always give them all 5s to start with, and then you have to work your way up to a higher ranking. That's how we do it here, because that's just how it's done. So anyways, the color score on this bike right here is 8.36, originality 8.21, parts 7.48, overall style is an 8.3, giving this bike a total rating score of an 8.09. Word is bond. All right, so that was bike number 3, a Stay Strong. Haven't had a Stay Strong featured on the site in a minute on Bike of the Day, so that's what's up. But let's get into bike number 2, and that bike is a 2024 Racing RA20. Yeah, that's right. We got the RA20 in there. Racing knocked it out the park with this frame. I think this frame is real dope. Some people like it, some people don't like it. It might be an acquired taste for some people, but I think this thing looks fresh. I like the olive and black colorway on this bike. Was submitted by my dude Roy Washington Jr. And man, this bike is fire. I can't wait to see this one in person. But now we're gonna get into more detail about this bike right here. First of all, this bike really sticks out with that big beefy front end that he has on that bike. You have the tapered headset, but you also have the hydroform top tube that expands out to create a massive gusset at the front end to make this bike real stiff in the front. There's also a beefy down tube which actually goes into the gusset at the head tube, so there's a lot of strength happening up there in the front for if you hack, case, do a nosedive, OTB, all that good stuff. Another cool thing about this frame is the top tube, how it has that bending arch after the gusset, and it gives you a straight shot all the way to the seat stay, all the way down to the dropout. So that way you'll have responsiveness, some real direct responsiveness from your frame. So when you snap out the gate, you are out of there. So it's real fresh. And speaking of fresh, you have this enclosed rear dropout with the internal chain tensioning, and it also has race ink embossed on the dropout itself. That right there is pretty dope. Nice attention to detail. And another feature that I like on BMX bikes in general is when they have an actual badge on the front, not just a sticker, but an actual badge on the front. And the Race Ink RA20 has a nice Race Ink badge on the front. So my dude Roy says his inspiration for this build comes from his dad, Roy Washington Sr., who gave a life skill he still uses today to motivate school-aged children and families. Now that we know about the inspiration for this build, let's check out those parts, son. Yeah! All right, so once again, 2024 Race Ink RA20 frame. Next up, we got the forks. You got the Box 1 X5 forks, Box 1 top load stem, which is 48 millimeters, Box 1 carbon headset with a Race Ink cap, Box 1 oversized 8-inch rise handlebars, Box 3 V-point brake lever, Box 3 BMX disc caliper, Box 1 linear brake cable, AME BMX tri grips. He's got a Box 1 oversized 20 millimeter front axle, and his rear axle is a Box 2 oversized 20 millimeter. He's cranking those 175 millimeter Box 3 cranks. He's got a Box 1 carbon seat and seat post, Box 2 chain ring, a silver Box 2 chain. He has a Box Hex Lab carbon rim in the back with that Hex Lab gray colorway. He has a Chase Element ISO rear hub in black, Box 1 folding B tire on the back, 20 by 1.75, and on the front he has a Tioga Faster tire, 20 by 1.85, just so you know what type of tires he's running and the size, because you know I always like the front end higher than the rear end, and my boy Roy does too, obviously with that size arrangement. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that later though. And lastly on this list right here, he is running HT X2 SX pedals. All right, y'all, so let's talk about that 2024 Race RA20 frame. First of all, it is hydroformed 6061 T6 aluminum. 6061 tubing is the golden standard of aluminum tubing that people use for BMX racing bikes, mountain bikes, all that good stuff. There are also other aluminum series tubing that you can use for BMX racing bikes, but this one right here is the sweet spot between stiffness, smoothness, and durability. So you're in good hands, really good hands. Just make sure it's welded good. That's another thing. Weld are important on a BMX bike, but I am going off on a tangent right now. So anyways, here we go. This bike features an oversized B52 bottom bracket shell. So it has a lot more space for you to weld your tubing to when it meets the bottom bracket. So as you can see, they have some really big tubing for the chainstay. That's a nice big tube that they have connecting to that bottom bracket. You also have the big tubing coming on the down tube, and then you also have that tapered seat tube. So all that stuff right there, all that strength that you're adding to that bottom bracket makes the bike stiffer and more responsive when you come out the gate, because this is a BMX racing bike and it's all about getting out that gate fast. That is the point of that. You also have an oversized tapered head tube with integrated drop-in headset. So once again, the oversized tapered headset add a lot of strength to this frame for it to perform well on the track. But you know me, I love racing, but it's also beneficial when you just riding in the street. If you want to use it as a commuter, you know, all these things affect its performance when you do stuff like that too. So I'm a person who likes to ride my bike competitively and also casually. And the better the bike is built for competition, it actually translates to casual riding as well. So that's just a sidebar for people who like fancy bikes and want to just chill on them and cruise around. You know what I'm saying? You definitely have a way better experience riding around on something like that than you would on a cheap BMX bike that's not 100% made for performance. That's my 2 cents, and I'm gonna stick with it. We also have an oversized adjustable 20mm rear dropout on the frame. It also has 10mm and 15mm compatibility, so if you have an axle that's any of those sizes, you are able to put that on this bike. The rear dropout has 50mm of fore and aft rear axle adjustment, so you have a lot of room to play with. If you want to move it up or move it back, you have room to play with to get your bike in the sweet spot as far as your positioning of your rear wheel and the rear dropout. Some people like their wheels back all the way, some people like them in the middle like myself, and some people like them closer to the seat stay. The closer that your wheel is to the seat stay, meaning the shorter you make your rear end, the easier it is to pull your bike up. So if you have a really long rear end like a 15.2 or 15.3, if you are able to pull that back wheel in, it'll give you some more leverage when it comes time to pick up your front wheel. Another thing that can help you with that is taller bars or a taller stem setup to give you some more leverage, because the higher up your bars are, the more leverage you'll have on a longer frame. Or you can just get a frame with a shorter rear end. But we haven't even got into the geometry on this bike yet. We're just talking about stats and features. Let's continue with that. This frame also features internal cable routing for the brakes. You can see in this photo right here that he has the internal cable routing going inside of the hydro form tubing of the top tube, and then goes all the way down to the rear right for the disc brakes. This is a disc brake only frame, so you can't run V brakes on this bike. Straight up disc brake action all day. It's a cleaner look, and the disc brake post mounts are attached to the dropout adapter. It has a tapered head tube, with the top of the head tube being a 1 1/8 and the bottom is a 1.5. It's bigger on the bottom. It's also an internal headset style, so that's something to note. And the frame also comes with threaded converter cups for the 68mm Euro bottom bracket set, which is pretty dope. Since I don't know what size frame Roy has, I'm gonna go with the Pro XL, and I'll let you know what the Pro XL is rocking. So the Pro XL frame geometry, top tube length is a 21 for the Pro XL. The bottom bracket center to the center top tube is 6.1 inches. The seat tube length is actually 8.3 inches. The seat tube angle is 72 degrees. The head tube angle is 74 degrees. Chainstay length is 14.8 on the Pro XL. The bottom bracket height is 11.25, which is a little bit lower than the 11.5 you normally see on most BMX bikes in general. Now, real quick, let's go to the Pro Double XL, because the Pro Double XL should have slightly different geometry. I'm really curious to see what the rear end is like on this Double XL. So the Double XL Race Inc. frame has a 15-inch chainstay length, so that's a little bit longer. It's a 15-inch rear chainstay length, and the top tube on this guy is a 21.5. So those are the two differences of that bike right there. There's also the Triple XL. I guess since I'm talking about frame, I guess I'll go to the Triple XL. So the Triple XL has a 22-inch top tube, and the rear end on that bike is a 15.3. From the bottom bracket to the center of the dropout is 15.3 inches. So there you go with the different sizes of the Race Inc. RA22 frame. Now with all of that said, it's time to talk about what the people think about this frame. Let's go down to those ratings and see what they said. So the color score got an 8.06, originality got an 8.17, parts got an 8.09, overall style 8.63, giving this bike a total rating score of an 8.24. 6 people gave this bike a rating, putting it in the number 2 spot. All right, so that was bike number 2, and now it's time to go to bike number 1, and that bike is 2024 Torque Pro X 24-inch BMX race bike, boy. Yeah! That's right. Torque is back in full effect. You know I mentioned it before, but I gotta say it again. Torque is back in full effect, bringing back all the oldies but goodies, but making them new. It's like they put the brand new stuff on the old stuff to make a fresh new joint. All right. So Torque Pro X 24-inch chrome plated, along with the golden parts to give it them highlights. The chrome and gold colorway is a classic colorway. It's a classic BMX bike colorway, and it's also just a dope look. Shannon Williams submitted this bike, and I definitely appreciate you, Shannon, for sending this one. It's definitely a fresh bike, and it's always good to see some of the big bikes on here. And big up to Bill Ryan for bringing the brand back and making some really dope new Torquers for people to enjoy. They had a really big debut showing at Dirty Fest, and everybody's loving the bikes, and this one right here is funky fresh. So let's talk about it. Shannon said that he had a Talker in 1979 and 1997, and Bill Ryan was doing a run of 25 Pro X 24s and was being relaunched at Dirty Fest 2024, and he was lucky enough to get one. So big shout out to Shannon once again for getting that Pro X and submitting it to Bike of the Day. Now that we know about the inspiration for this build, let's check out those parts, son! Once again, we got a Talker Pro 20X frame. We got those dope bottom of forks, JW stem, FSA headset, DK66 handlebars, a Wise brake lever, Pro Max brake calipers, 09 landing panel Pro number plate, profile mini hubs, stainless double butted spokes with alloy nipples, Sun Rhinolite rims, JW chain tensioner, box 2 chain, a JW 7075 aluminum solid gear 40 sprocket, profile Euro internal bottom bracket, 175mm redline flight cranks with titanium bolts, Harrow DX style pedals, S&M pivotal seat, Supercross pivotal seat post, a Bassett BMX seat post clamp. He's running Kenda conversion tires, 24 by 1.75 on the rear, 24 by 1.95 on the front, and a Kenda small block 24 1.95 for old school dirt tracks. So he's prepared for whatever. So as you can see right there, Shannon gets busy on his bike. He's up there at Dirty Fest getting busy on that last jump at the finish line. So that's what's up. But now let's get into this frame here. Let's talk about this frame right here. This new Talker 24-inch Pro X frame. So I went to the website to find the Pro X 24 and I didn't see it on the website. So all I saw was the Pro X 20-inch frame, but the 20-inch Pro X pretty much is the same as the 24 except for a change in geometry and size. All right, so according to the website, it says the Talker Pro X was the first Talker to use a small triangle down tube gussets instead of the traditional side plate gussets. And now this iconic frame is back as our fully modern race machine with a 1 1/8 threadless steerer tube, a 27.2 seat mast, V brakes, and Euro bottom bracket. You know, all the modern BMX stuff that a modern BMX race bike should have. And of course, it is a full 4130 chromoly frame as always. The geometry on the 24-inch Pro X Cruiser is a 22-inch top tube, 15.35 chainstay, 11.625 bottom bracket height, and a 73.5 head tube angle. Some more details about this frame is that it's done in show chrome. It's got the seamless 4130 chromoly tubing like I said before. It's the traditional Talker dual top tube race frame, so they did not skimp on the top tube action. You do have the dual top tubes on this frame. It's got the Euro bottom bracket shell, double thick 1/4-inch laser cut chromo dropouts, modern chainstay brace, integrated campy head tube. It has a 3/8 dropout so you can fit your 3/8 wheels, like your tough wheels and stuff like that on there. And for the seat clamp, you got to use a 28.6 clamp. But you ain't using nothing because the bike is already sold out. You ain't getting one unless you ask Shannon to sell his. And I know Shannon ain't selling his because this is a new classic. Who wants to give that up? Plus, he also rides. So y'all missed the boat on that. There was only 25 pieces of this 24 made. So that was that. But, we have it documented here for all you guys to check out and appreciate this bike. I love what Shannon did with the frame. But now, the month of June is over. That competition's over for that. I'm going to be sending Shannon his medal and also a prize, a special sugarcane prize. And July starts a whole new cycle of bike submissions and features. So if you're interested in getting your bike featured on sugarcane.com for Bike of the Day and possibly getting featured in this series right here, if people rate your bike enough for it to be in the top 3, of course, definitely do that. I have a link in the description for that. Also, you can check out the Bike of the Month June competition page on sugarcane.com. That link is in the description. But more importantly, there is a Bike of the Year competition going on, the 2024 Bike of the Year competition. So all of the bikes you've seen up until this point and going on to the end of the year, you can rate those bikes. And whoever bike has the top rating winds up becoming the Bike of the Year. Now, this is my first time probably mentioning this, but I'm going to be giving away a sugarcane 26-inch BMX frame for the winner of Bike of the Year. So the number one bike voted by the people. This is the people's voice. Popularity vote, whatever it is, whoever comes to rate all these bikes, the number one bike, the winner of that is going to win a sugarcane 26-inch BMX frame. I definitely want to get your opinion on what frame should I give out at the end of the year. Also want to get your opinion on this episode. Also want you to spread the word to other people, because I definitely want to showcase all the fly bikes that are out. I know Instagram is loaded with people posting up fresh bikes, but I definitely would love it if somebody came to the site and submitted some of those bikes, because I want to see how this competition revs up for the rest of the year. All right, so this is Crazy Al Kane, Bike of the Month, June 2024. Big shout out to everybody who submitted a bike this month. Keep them coming. I love the bikes, man. And all my guys with the dirt jumpers, send those bikes too. I want to see some dirt jumpers, man. Don't leave yourself out, all right? So that's it. I'm out, and back to you, Billy.